I'm staring at my phone screen, heart hammering against my ribs like it's trying to escape my chest. The text from Marcus is still there, hotel room 237. Can't stop thinking about you. My thumb hovers over the keyboard. I know if I type back, if I walk out this door, I'm crossing a line I can never uncross. But God help me, I'm already reaching for my keys. 7 years. That's how long David and I have been together, married for 4. We have 2 kids, Emma who's 6 and Jake who just turned 4. David works his ass off at the engineering firm, comes home tired but still reads bedtime stories. Still kisses my forehead when he thinks I'm sleeping. Still believes I'm the woman he married. The worst part? There's nothing wrong with him. Nothing broken to justify what I'm about to do. It started innocent enough. Marcus joined our marketing team 3 months ago. Tall, confident, the kind of guy who makes jokes that land perfectly in meetings. The kind who noticed when I changed my hair, complimented my presentations. Made me feel seen in a way I'd forgotten I needed. "You're too smart for suburban mom life," he'd said last week over coffee that definitely wasn't just coffee anymore. "You could be running your own agency instead of changing diapers." I'd laughed, but something twisted in my stomach. Because he was voicing thoughts I'd been pushing down for months. The creeping feeling that I'd settled, that motherhood had swallowed the ambitious woman I used to be. That maybe I deserved something more exciting than grocery runs and school pickup. My friends didn't help. Sarah constantly posts about her single life, the restaurants, the spontaneous trips. "Living my best life while you're stuck in mommy mode," she'd tease. Even my sister would make comments about how I'd let myself go since the kids, how David was lucky to have someone so devoted. Devoted. The word tastes like ash now. I'm in my car, engine running, telling myself I'm just going to tell Marcus this has to stop. That I'm married, that this is wrong. But I'm wearing the red dress he complimented, the one that's been hanging in my closet for 2 years waiting for a special occasion that never came. The hotel lobby is all marble and soft lighting. I catch my reflection in the elevator mirror. I look guilty already. My wedding ring feels like it weighs 1,000 pounds. Room 237. I knock twice. Marcus opens the door in a white button-down, sleeves rolled up. He smiles like he knew I'd come, like this was inevitable. Maybe it was. "I wasn't sure you'd show," he says, but his eyes say different. They say he's been counting on my weakness. I should leave. Should turn around, go home, hug my kids, tell David the first love him. Should choose the life I built over the fantasy I'm chasing. Instead, I step inside. The next 2 hours disappear in a haze of guilt and adrenaline and the desperate need to feel wanted. Marcus says all the right things, touches me like I'm precious instead of just another item on David's daily checklist. For 2 hours, I'm not just someone's wife, someone's mother. I'm just me. But the second it's over, reality crashes back like a freight train. I'm sitting on the edge of the hotel bed, dress wrinkled, hair a mess, and I can't breathe. Marcus is in the bathroom, humming like nothing earth-shattering just happened. Like I didn't just detonate my entire life. My phone buzzes. A text from David. "Kids are asking when mommy's coming home from her work meeting. Should I start dinner?" I stare at those words until they blur. Kids are asking when mommy's coming home. Sweet, trusting Emma who still thinks I hung the moon. Jake who runs to me every day after preschool like I'm the best thing in his world. What have I done? Marcus comes out of the bathroom, straightening his shirt. "So when can we do this again?" The casualness in his voice makes me sick. This isn't some grand love affair. It's not even about wanting me. It's about conquest, about taking something that belongs to someone else. "I have to go," I whisper. He shrugs, already checking his phone. "Text me." I drive home in a fog, practicing normal. Practicing being the woman who left the house 3 hours ago instead of the woman who just burned down everything she claimed to love. David's in the kitchen when I walk in, stirring pasta sauce while Emma sets the table and Jake colors at the counter. The picture of domestic bliss I was ready to throw away for a few hours of feeling special. "How was the meeting?" David asks, kissing my cheek like always. "Fine," I lie, and the word tastes like poison. For 3 weeks, I live in this hell of my own making. Marcus texts constantly, pushing for another meeting. I tell myself it was a mistake, that it's over, but I don't block his number. Don't tell him to stop. Because part of me likes the attention. Likes having a secret that makes me feel alive. I'm distracted with the kids, snapping at Emma for normal 6-year-old behavior, barely listening when Jake tells me about his day. David notices but doesn't push, just picks up the slack like he always does. Like the good man he is. The man I'm betraying every second I keep this secret. Then David's laptop breaks. He needs to check email for an important client presentation, so he asks to borrow mine. I should say no. Should make up some excuse, offer to drive him to the office instead. But Emma's having a meltdown about her Halloween costume and Jake spilled juice on the carpet, and I'm juggling everything like always, so I just nod and tell him the password. 20 minutes later, he calls my name from the home office. His voice is different. Flat. I find him staring at my laptop screen. Gmail is open, and there it is. 3 weeks of messages from Marcus. The flirting, the compliments, the photos I was stupid enough to send. The hotel receipts in my email from that Tuesday I claimed I was in client meetings. David doesn't look at me. Just keeps staring at the screen like he's trying to decode a foreign language. David, I can explain. Don't. His voice is so quiet I barely hear it. Just. Don't. He closes the laptop. Sits there for a minute that feels like an hour. Then he stands up, walks past me like I'm not even there, and goes upstairs. I hear drawers opening. Clothes being thrown into suitcases. The kids are still in the living room, oblivious. Emma's practicing her Halloween dance, Jake's building something with blocks. They have no idea their world is about to implode. David comes downstairs with 2 suitcases and starts gathering their things. Favorite toys, clothes, Emma's special blanket. Where are you going? I finally find my voice. He still won't look at me. My brothers. Until I figure out what happens next. David, please. It was a mistake. It didn't mean anything. Now he looks at me, and I wish he hadn't. There's nothing in his eyes. No anger, no hurt. Just emptiness. It meant everything, he says. It meant our marriage doesn't matter to you. Our family doesn't matter to you. We don't matter to you. Emma runs over, confused. Daddy, why do you have suitcases? David kneels down, pulls her into a hug. We're going to stay with Uncle Mike for a while, sweetheart. What about Mommy? He doesn't answer. Just holds her tighter. I'm standing in my own hallway watching my husband pack up our children like I'm a stranger. Like I'm dangerous. Maybe I am. David loads the car while I hover uselessly, wanting to help, knowing I have no right. The kids are excited about their adventure, not understanding this isn't temporary. Before he leaves, David finally speaks to me one more time. I trusted you with everything I had, he says, keys jingling in his hand. I gave you my whole heart, my whole life. And you threw it away for what? Some guy from work who probably doesn't even remember your name today? I want to tell him he's wrong, that Marcus cares about me, that this was about more than just sex. But even as I think it, I know it's a lie. I'll file papers next week, David continues. My lawyer will contact you about custody arrangements. Custody arrangements. The words hit like a physical blow. You can't take my kids. Watch me. And there it is, the anger I've been waiting for. But it's not hot rage. It's cold, calculated fury. You made your choice. Now live with it. The car doors slam. Emma waves at me through the window, still smiling because she doesn't understand. Jake's already asleep in his car seat. David doesn't look back. I stand in my driveway, watching my family drive away, and the silence that follows is deafening. My phone buzzes. A text from Marcus, free tonight? I stare at the message until the words lose meaning, then delete it without responding. Too late. Everything's too late. The house feels like a mausoleum. 3 days since David left with the kids, and I've barely eaten, barely slept. I keep expecting to hear Emma's laugh echoing down the hallway or Jake calling for me from his bedroom. Instead, there's just silence and the smell of the McDonald's I brought home last night but couldn't stomach. My phone hasn't stopped ringing. David's lawyer, my mother who somehow found out and won't stop leaving voicemails about working things out. But David's not answering my calls, my texts disappear into the void, and I'm starting to understand that this isn't a fight we're having. This is an ending. The custody hearing is brutal. David's lawyer paints me as an unfit mother who prioritized an affair over her children's well-being. They have evidence I didn't even know existed. Credit card statements showing lunches with Marcus during times I claimed to be running errands. The hotel receipt. Even security footage from the office showing us leaving together. David sits across the courtroom in his best suit, the one I helped him pick out for his promotion last year. He doesn't look at me once. Not when his lawyer talks about my pattern of deception or when they discuss my fitness as a parent. He stares straight ahead like I'm not even there. Like I never existed. The judge awards him primary custody. I get supervised visitation every other weekend, pending evaluation. Supervised. Like I'm dangerous to my own children. In the hallway afterward, I try to approach David. His lawyer steps between us before I can get close. My client has no interest in speaking with you, she says. All future communication should go through our offices. David walks away without a word. I watch him disappear around the corner and realize this might be the last time I see him in person for months. Maybe years. Work becomes impossible. Everyone knows. The affair with Marcus was bad enough, but when he stopped returning my calls after that first night, when I realized I'd blown up my marriage for someone who saw me as a one-time conquest, the humiliation became unbearable. Marcus got promoted to a different department. Suddenly he's too busy for coffee, too important for the projects we used to collaborate on. He nods politely when we pass in the hallway like we're acquaintances instead of the reason my life imploded. I find out from Sarah, who heard from her friend who works in HR, that Marcus has been telling people I came onto him. That he tried to keep things professional but I was persistent. Desperate. The worst part is, some of it's true. After that first night, I was desperate. Desperate to believe it meant something, that I hadn't destroyed everything for nothing. My coworkers avoid me. The few who still speak to me do it with pity in their eyes, like I'm a cautionary tale they tell their friends over wine. Remember Jennifer from marketing? Yeah, she threw away her whole family for some guy who ghosted her the next week. I request a transfer to a different office, but my reputation follows me. Within 6 months, I'm pushed out entirely. Restructuring, they call it, but we all know what it really is. My first supervised visit with the kids is at a family center that smells like disinfectant and broken dreams. Emma runs to me initially, but she's different. More reserved. She tells me about her new school, how Uncle Mike taught her to ride a bike, how Daddy reads her 3 books every night now instead of just 1. She's building a life that doesn't include me. Jake barely remembers me. 4 months apart at his age might as well be a lifetime. He clings to the social worker when I try to hug him, asks when Daddy's coming back. I'm your mommy, I tell him, voice breaking. Remember me? He stares at me with David's eyes and shakes his head. The social worker writes something on her clipboard. More evidence of my failure. My family tries to help at first. My mother lets me move into my childhood bedroom, treats me like I'm recovering from some natural disaster instead of consequences I created. But even she gets tired of my self-pity eventually. You made your bed, Jennifer, she says after another night of finding me crying over photos of the kids. At some point, you have to lie in it. My friends fade away one by one. Sarah stops inviting me out after I break down crying at a restaurant when I see a family with young kids. The mom friends from Emma's school cross the street when they see me coming. I'm a reminder of how quickly perfect lives can implode, how easily you can lose everything. Nobody wants that kind of reminder around. The divorce is finalized on a Tuesday. I sign papers that dissolve 7 years of marriage, that make David a stranger legally and financially. The house goes up for sale. Everything we built together gets divided by lawyers and reduced to line items on spreadsheets. I keep thinking David will reach out, that eventually we'll need to talk about something. School events, medical decisions, holiday schedules. But his lawyer handles everything. I exist in his world now only as a legal obligation, a problem to be managed from a distance. The first time I drive past Emma's new school, I see David at pickup. He's laughing with another parent, probably making plans for a playdate I'll never be invited to. Emma runs to him with a drawing, and he scoops her up like she's the most precious thing in the world. They look happy. Complete. They look like a family that never needed me at all. I start therapy because the court requires it, but also because I'm drowning. Dr. Martinez doesn't let me play victim, doesn't accept my excuses about feeling underappreciated or needing validation. You made a choice, she says during our 3rd session. Every moment from that first flirtation to walking into that hotel room, you chose yourself over your family. Now you want sympathy for facing the consequences. She's right, but hearing it out loud feels like being flayed alive. I know I messed up, I whisper. But I can't undo it. I can't fix it. How do I live with that? The same way millions of other people live with their mistakes, she says. One day at a time, knowing that some things can't be fixed. At Emma's 7th birthday party, I sit in my car across the street watching through the windows of David's brother's house. There's a bouncy castle in the backyard, kids running around with cake on their faces. Emma's wearing a princess dress I didn't pick out, blowing out candles on a cake I didn't make. David lifts her up to help her reach the piñata. Some woman I don't recognize steadies the ladder, laughing at something Emma says. She has kind eyes and a genuine smile, and when Jake toddles over to her, she picks him up naturally, like she's done it 100 times before. My replacement. Someone who will read bedtime stories and pack school lunches and attend parent-teacher conferences. Someone who will be there for first days of school and scraped knees and teenage heartbreak. Someone who won't abandon them for a few hours of feeling special. I drive away before anyone sees me, but not before I understand the truth that's been chasing me for months. They're better off without me. The court-appointed psychologist's evaluation is worse than I expected. She recommends continued supervised visitation, notes concerns about my emotional stability and decision-making. Reading her report is like looking at myself through a microscope, every flaw magnified and documented. The subject demonstrates patterns of narcissistic behavior and poor impulse control, she writes. Her actions suggest a prioritization of personal gratification over familial responsibility. Clinical language for what everyone already knows: I'm selfish. I chose what felt good over what was right, and now I get to live with that choice forever. The supervised visits become less frequent. Emma stops asking when she can come home with me. Jake forgets my name sometimes, calls me the lady when the social worker asks about our time together. I'm becoming a stranger to my own children, and the worst part is knowing I deserve it. 2 years after that night in the hotel, I'm living in a studio apartment 40 minutes from my kids, working at a call center because it's the only job I could get with my reputation. I see Emma and Jake 6 hours a month, always with a social worker taking notes, always knowing that someone else is raising them. Marcus got married last spring. I saw the announcement on LinkedIn, him and some blonde marketing director from another company. They looked perfect together, all white teeth and successful careers. The woman who didn't throw away everything good in her life for a man who forgot her name. I wonder if she knows about me. If he told her about the desperate suburban mom who thought she could do better, who learned too late that some mistakes echo forever. Tonight I'm sitting on my couch with a cheap bottle of wine, scrolling through photos on my phone. Emma's school play that I watched from the parking lot. Jake's first day of kindergarten, captured in a picture David's sister posted on Facebook before blocking me. My children are growing up in a world where I barely exist, where mentioning my name makes conversations awkward and adults change the subject. I did this. Every single piece of this destruction has my fingerprints on it. The woman in the hotel that night thought she was choosing herself, choosing excitement, choosing the life she deserved. She didn't realize she was choosing to become a ghost in her own story, a cautionary tale whispered by people who used to call her friend. She thought she was smart enough to have it all, selfish enough to take what she wanted without paying the price. She was wrong about everything, and by the time she figured that out, everyone she loved had learned to live without her. Some choices don't get do-overs, and betrayal is a scar that never fully heals. You just become the kind of person who leaves scars wherever you go.